baby in them.
The details of this case are quite sickening. Reno police say both parents knew the little girl was sick, but never called 911 instead.
People can do this to a child, and that's the only thing that gets me is how you can do it to a child.
We were going through the stuff, and it felt really bad. And there's a baby in there. I just seen the arm, and I just know it's a dead body.
Something didn't seem right. That's what Detective Ryan Miller thought as he pulled up to the nondescript apartment building located on the outskirts of Reno, Nevada.
Story, right? So we were going through the stuff, and it felt really bad. And there's a baby in there. I seen the arm, and I just know it's a dead body.
It was a Monday afternoon in late May, and he'd received a curious call from one of his colleagues in the homicide unit. "We've got a suspicious death out near the self-storage units off Highway 50. Came across something disturbing in one of the units and need you to take a look." Miller wasn't given any other details, but there was an urgency in his colleague's voice that told him this was no ordinary case. As he walked up to Unit 212, he braced himself for what he might find. Peering inside, his eyes were drawn to a large blue plastic storage container sitting open in the corner. Even from a distance, he could sense that something was very wrong. Stepping closer, he gasped as the smell hit him, the unmistakable scent of decay. But it was the contents of the container that made his blood run cold. Inside lay the decomposing remains of what appeared to be a small child, curled up in a fetal position. Clutched in one tiny hand was a tattered stuffed animal, as if seeking comfort even in death. Miller felt nausea rise in his throat, but forced it down.
It smells. It's gonna be a human. It's gonna be a human. Yeah. Just based on the smell and the appearance, so wait for Nutley.
Years of police work having hardened his stomach. This was no accident, and he knew in his gut it was about to become his most disturbing case yet. But little did he know just how deep the darkness ran, or the tangled web of lies and depravity he was about to uncover. Back at the station, Miller got to work piecing together the clues. The rental agreement for the unit listed one Tyler Anderson as their renter, residing at the apartment in South Reno. A quick records check showed Tyler had a record of petty drug offenses and had recently been released from probation. More disturbingly, Tyler was married to a woman named Adriana Enoch, and together they had 2 young sons aged 2 and 6 months. Public records also indicated Tyler had sole custody of a 5-year-old daughter named Callie. A sick feeling settled in Miller's stomach as the pieces started coming together. He grabbed his partner Davis and headed to Tyler and Adriana's apartment, sirens blaring. Whatever had happened to that little girl, he was determined to get to the bottom of it. Pulling up outside the dingy apartment building, Miller saw a man loading boxes into a U-Haul truck out front. "That must be him," he said to Davis as they jumped out of the car. Tyler immediately looked uneasy when they flashed their badges and asked to speak with him. "Tyler Anderson, I'm Detective Miller. This is Detective Davis. We need to ask you some questions about a storage unit you've been renting." Tyler began nervously fiddling with his keys. Sure, officers. What's this about?" "Where's your daughter, Callie?" Miller asked bluntly, studying Tyler's reaction. Tyler broke out in a sweat. She's not here. She's staying with her mom for a few days." Miller didn't believe that for a second. "We found human remains in that storage unit, Tyler. A little girl about Callie's age. I think you'd better come down to the station with us." Things only got more bizarre from there. At the police station, Tyler lawyered up immediately upon being read his Miranda rights. But his wife, Adriana, agreed to an interview, claiming she knew nothing about the storage unit. Her story had several inconsistencies. However, she said Callie was staying with Tyler's family, but couldn't provide an address or phone number. And when asked where Callie had been over the past few weeks, Adriana suddenly became evasive. "I don't feel so good. I think I need some water," she muttered, rubbing her sweaty palms up and down her arms as if cold. Miller sensed she was hiding something major. In the interrogation room next door, Tyler's public defender was advising him not to say anything without a deal. But Miller had a hunch Tyler might crack under the right pressure. He decided to play the husband against the wife. Summoning Adriana back in, Miller met her gaze sternly. "Your husband is in the next room, telling us a very different story, Adriana. He says you know exactly what happened to Callie, and it's all your fault. I think you'd better start talking before I charge you as an accessory." Adriana's eyes widened in panic. "No, you don't understand. Tyler made me do it. It was his idea." Miller leaned forward. "Made you do what, Adriana?" In that moment, Adriana completely broke down sobbing. "Oh my God, what have I done? That poor baby." Through tears and gasps, Adriana spilled her horrible secret. She admitted that Callie hadn't been staying with family. The little girl was dead, her body hidden in the storage unit. According to Adriana, Callie had gotten sick a few weeks ago from something she ate and passed away in the apartment despite Tyler's attempts to revive her with CPR. In a panic, Tyler and Adriana had wrapped Callie's body in trash bags and stored it in the blue container, hoping to dispose of it later. But Adriana said the whole thing was really Tyler's fault. He was abusive and made her go along with the cover-up. Miller knew Adriana was likely trying to deflect blame, but the confession was enough to get a search warrant for their apartment as a potential crime scene. What he found there made his blood run cold. The two-bedroom flat was cramped and filthy, with spoiled food and garbage strewn about. But the main bathroom was the most disturbing. The sink and bathtub were stained dark red, and the entire room reeked of chemicals like someone had tried desperately to wipe away evidence. Something wasn't adding up, and Miller felt they were still missing major pieces of the puzzle. He ordered an autopsy on Callie's remains immediately, while Davis started digging deeper into Tyler and Adriana's background and relationships. It turned out Adriana had a violent streak and disliked Callie from the beginning, jealous that the girl was biologically hers. She fought hard against Tyler gaining custody years ago and had several restraining orders filed against her by the mother. Witnesses also came forward saying Adriana was cruel and abusive to Callie, while Tyler turned a blind eye. Then Davis uncovered Adriana's affairs with a neighborhood man who reported seeing the kids, but never Callie during his secret visits to the apartment. It all started coming together in a horrifying picture. Callie hadn't simply gotten sick. She had been systematically starved and physically tortured by Adriana for years, while Tyler ignored the signs. The autopsy confirmed she weighed only 16 pounds at the time of death, about half the size of a normal 5-year-old. Course of events became clear. Callie likely died of her injuries and malnutrition, after which Tyler and Adriana panicked and attempted to cover it up.
You're not gonna call an ambulance, I can't go to prison, If you call an ambulance, I'm gonna kill you, You have to save your daughter, CPR,
But their sloppy story and DNA evidence from the bathroom sealed their fates. A few months later, Adriana's case went to trial. Despite her crocodile tears on the stand, the jury saw through her lies and found her guilty of first-degree murder within hours. The judge handed down a life sentence with no chance of parole. Tyler accepted a plea deal admitting to child endangerment and helping cover up Callie's death. He was sentenced to life with the possibility of parole after a decade. As for the other kids, they were safely placed with loving family members. For Detective Miller, finally solving the tragic case of little Callie Anderson brought some semblance of justice and closure. But he'll never forget the darkness he glimpsed into the hearts of people who could abuse an innocent child so viciously. It's a reminder that evil can hide behind any door and in any neighborhood. You just have to pick up all the clues.